Hi, and welcome to a KEM Truckmate informational video. In this series, we'll take a high-level look at how the operations and back-office components of Truckmate connect, and how data flows between the programs. Today's focus will be on accounts payable. We'll walk you through the flow of information from when you receive an invoice from a supplier, carrier, or other third party, all the way to issuing a payment and reconciling with the bank. Here's what we'll cover today. A high-level look at how accounts payable financial data flows into the general ledger. How the system determines which accounts to post to, from invoice entry to payment. Ways your data can flow into the accounts payable system from other modules. Some shortcuts to help streamline data entry. Please note that every Truckmate integration can be different. This video provides a general overview and is not tailored to any specific integration. It assumes that your accounting is managed within Truckmate and not exported to systems like QuickBooks, Great Plains, or Sage. Let's start by looking at how data can flow into your accounts payable workflow. There are several ways that data can make its way into your accounts payable modules. One of these is through the processing of interline payable records. How does this work? If you sell your loads to other carriers, you can track that in Truckmate. Your dispatch team can assign carriers to trips, which then flow into the IP tab of the customer service screens for your freight bills. Once the IP, interline payable, records are approved and posted through the interline accrual register, the system will credit your interline payable account and debit the corresponding expense accounts. How does the system know which accounts to post to? Your interline payable account will default to the first account of account type BL013, using the same currency as the interline payable record. Your expense accounts are set up in the GL distribution screen under the Billing and Truckmate Accounting tabs. This is also where you can set up accounts for IP markup and tax codes. If you have more complex business rules and need to override either the interline payable account or the expense accounts, you can do that in the GL Reset tab of the GL distribution screen. Once the records have passed through the IP accrual register, your IP clerks can wait for invoices from the carriers. At this point, the records are marked as audited to allow them to flow into the accounts payable system. To mark the records as audited, you'll need to provide a ProBill number. This number will eventually become the bill number in the accounts payable invoice. Once your IP record has been audited in the interline payable audit screen, you can run the IP audit register. This will clear out the interline payable account for the transaction by debiting it, while crediting the accounts payable account. Why is this important? The interline payable account serves as a pass-through account, holding the transaction until the invoice from the carrier is received and you are ready to move it into the accounts payable system. Once the audit register completes, in addition to posting to the accounts payable account, the bill will also be available for viewing in the AP inquiry screen and can be paid from there. The process also creates and posts an accounts payable invoice, which you can view in the accounts payable invoice entry screen by selecting the Include Posted Bills checkbox. Another way to get data into the accounts payable system is through the purchase order program. You can use purchase orders to track company purchases. From within the purchase order program, you can define the accounts payable control account and the expense accounts you want to post to. Once a purchase order is approved and the product is received, you can create an accounts payable invoice directly from your completed purchase order, and all the PO details will flow into your AP invoice. This applies to repairs, office supplies, and other expenses. Entering invoices directly into the accounts payable system. If you're entering an AP invoice that's not related to freight you've sold or a result of a purchase order, you can manually enter it into the accounts payable invoice entry screen. When entering the invoice directly into this screen, you will specify the accounts payable control account and the expense accounts to post to. Streamlining repetitive transactions. For vendors that always post to the same accounts, like utility companies or regular suppliers, you can define default accounts in the vendor profile. Simply log into the vendor profile, click on the AP tab, and set up default accounts for that vendor. This is optional, but it can save time for repeatable transactions. You can also save entry time by memorizing transactions that happen with some regularity. Say, rent on your office. Saving these transactions and recalling them at a later date can provide greater efficiency within the AP system. Invoices will also flow into the accounts payable ledger through the repairs and maintenance system if your company utilizes these modules. Once invoices are created, they need to be posted through the AP invoice entry register. Registers are used throughout Truckmate's accounting modules to control the flow of financial data into the general ledger. A transaction won't show up in the ledger until it's posted through one of these registers. When you post the invoice, the accounts payable account is credited and the expense and tax accounts are debited. Depending on how you have generated your AP data, you may not need to run the register. For example, while you will have to run the AP invoice register for bills you manually create or invoices you generate from purchase orders, invoices that occur due to the Interline Payable module already post into the AP ledger when they are run through the Interline Payable audit register. Once transactions are posted, you can issue payments to vendors via the AP inquiry screen. How do you make payments? In the AP inquiry screen, you can either press the Pay Bill button or right-click on the top grid to open the Pay Bills pop-up screen. Here, you define which bank will make the payment using accounts with an account type of BA001. You can filter the bills in the grid and set a payment date at the top of the screen. To select bills to pay, simply double-click on them and they will turn blue. After selecting all the bills you wish to pay, right-click the grid and choose Create Checks. How does the system know where to issue the payment? This is determined by the vendor's profile. In the vendor profile, there's a Direct Deposit tab that controls where the payment appears after you create the checks. If the Direct Deposit checkbox is selected, the payment will appear in the Direct Deposit screen. If not, it will appear in the check printing screen. Payments will never appear in both screens simultaneously, though both direct deposit payments and checks will appear in the Instant Check program. Finally, once payments are issued, you need to post them using the check register. Regardless of whether you issue a check or process a direct deposit, you post the payment through the check register. Running this register will debit your accounts payable account and credit your bank account. Once the payments clear the bank, you can reconcile your transactions using the bank reconciliation screen, completing the accounts payable process within Truckmate. And that's it! There are multiple ways to get payable information into the AP module and various ways to issue payments. Regardless of the method you choose, the posting process remains consistent across the AP modules. We hope you found value in today's video. Be sure to check back for more videos, where we explore how data flows through the Truckmate system.